So, well, thanks a lot for coming. I was at the screening at the DGA the other night, or the other afternoon, when Sean Penn introduced you and said something about it was the greatest performance he'd seen since Marlon Brando in Last Tango in Paris. I mean, it's an impossible question, but how do you respond to something like that?
It's impossible to respond to that. First of all, I said also that going there to speak about performing in front of Sean Penn is like going to a place to speak about music in front of Mozart. So for me it was very intimidating to be there. But a friend, Sean is a good friend. He's supporting us in such an amazing way, and for having in mind that he's doing a lot of humanitarian important work for thousands of people in Haiti, to take the time to come here and help us to this movie be seen, it's an amazing thing. Besides the line that he threw out that I didn't even pay attention to.
I mean, it does seem like this is a movie where the artistic community has really rallied behind the movie, even when it seems like, in a way, the business side doesn't really know what to do with it.
I don't know what business side it is. I think at the end of the day there are good movies, bad movies. These things so-called mainstream. I don't know. I'm not a producer. Well, I've produced documentaries in Spain. I guess everyone involved in this movie it was really interested only from the very beginning in do something of quality. And I think that the people respond to it very good and very deeply. So it's about putting the movie out and making people see it. Because when you put it out there, people react to it in a very amazing way. Because I've been in those Q&As, I've been in premiering the movie in London, in Madrid, in Barcelona, in Mexico, and I see people's faces. That's not a lie.
Right.
So at the end, a good work is a good work, and I think this movie is an amazing Alejandro's work.
Yeah. I mean, it does seem like you talked about the journey that the audience goes through when they see this movie. But I mean, is there a way to sum up what the journey was like for you making the film?
The journey for me making the film was a pretty hard one to sustain, because it was long. It was 5 months. And the emotional state of the character is pretty deep. There's no other way to say it. And in order to be there, maintaining that for 6 days per week for 5 months, there's a moment where you have to really surrender to it and go with it and pray that you will be able to come back. And I'm here talking to you, but what I'm saying is it's beyond performing, it's about being, which is at the end the ultimate dream of any actor, being able to be rather than to pretend. And in this role there was no room for pretending, because it was written that way.
Right. I mean, was that a realization you came to early in the process, that you couldn't perform the role, you had to just be the role?
I knew it from the very beginning, because I read the material and I said, I saw his previous works, Alejandro's previous amazing works, and I knew that this was going to be a long journey for the both of us.
Right. We had Aaron Eckhart here last night for Rabbit Hole, and he was saying that during the shoot of that movie, he didn't want to give up the character's grief and pain. He wanted to go home and feel it. I mean, did you find yourself doing the same thing?
Yeah, it's true. There's some loyalty that you create with a character where at the end, when it's time to say goodbye, well, it's a loving one. You don't feel like it's that easy to say bye-bye until never again, because you are not going to be that person ever again. Especially in roles. There are certain roles where you go there, deliver the line, and go back home, and you say, okay, I had fun. This is not one of them. And I guess he was talking about the same experience, where you have to really face a lot of things within yourself and out of yourself in order to go to a point where you can create something that it was on the page, that the page was demanding, the writing. In those cases, yes, there's a difficult mix of feelings of hate and love and passion and missing when he's not there anymore. Yeah.
So what was it on the page when you read it that you responded to?
It was a red light making like danger, danger, danger. But also it was the possibility of creating a great character that Alejandro wrote carefully and he knows a lot about performers, he knows a lot about performing, and he knows a lot about writing. And I think the whole ground where the character is based on is so solid that there was no way that you can go there and do wrong. It's so important to have a good character in order to try to do a good job. Otherwise, it's impossible. To try to do a good job out of a bad written character is impossible. This is not the case. So I knew it was going to be a hard journey, but also a very satisfying one for an actor.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks very much. I spoke to Guillermo del Toro about this a couple of weeks ago, and he described it as a monumental performance, and I think he sort of nailed it there. So
Thank you.
thanks very much.
Thank you.